I do want to say the team that I thought that won the draft. And I don't usually use this language.
No, it's tough to judge immediately after.
Of course not. You can't judge immediately after. It takes a long while to figure this whole thing out,
3
right?
3 years usually.
Correct, right? But I think you could identify a team that has so-called won the draft.
I anxiously await what you have to say here.
And when you can win a draft the weekend after a draft is over, a few things have to happen. You've got to move up and down the draft board smartly. You've got to choose players that you could see in your system and also have been lionized by the evaluating class. By that, I mean all the mock drafters that you see, and people will talk about how huge of an upside this player has. And then you also acquire a real deal veteran in a trade. And put it all together, and you have the winner of this year's National Football League draft being the San Francisco 49ers and our buddy John Lynch. Now, I say that with the ultimate of respect to Steve Keim and the Arizona Cardinals. They may have drafted expertly again, by the way. Again. And I raise my hand and say at this point last year, we had Steve Keim on this show Monday after the draft talking about why did you trade away Kyler Murray? And did you give Josh Rosen a heads up? Just to bring it all full circle that I'm a guy who gives people heads ups and all that stuff. And it's a different thing to give a heads up to your GOAT quarterback who's already put a trophy in the case and a kid that you drafted 10th overall the previous year. These are two different balls of wax. Keim made his moves already. DeAndre Hopkins being added, David Johnson off the roster, building this team in that respect. Getting Isaiah Simmons is amazing. Okay. But these are all pieces of a puzzle you've done over the last several weeks. But for the San Francisco 49ers to not have picks in the middle of this draft, none in the second, third, and fourth rounds, and John Lynch saying to us last Tuesday when he came on, 6 days ago, I need a trade out. We're looking to trade out. We're interested in trading out.
Yep.
We're taking these calls because we've got nothing until the 5th. For him to acquire a fourth on Thursday night by moving down one spot so the Bucs can move up to take Tristan Wirfs and then move down one spot and take the replacement for DeForest Buckner, who you've traded away for this first-round selection that you traded one pick down, okay? And you're getting younger. You get some kid in Javon Kinlaw, who all the ruling, if you will, evaluating class talked about one of the best defensive linemen available. And he's 6'5", 324 as we're shooting on the screen. He is a grown-ass man that you're putting right in the middle of that defensive line that already has Bosa, and you paid Eric Armstead. You chose him as the guy. I'm going to pay him. We're going to let Buckner go. We're going to get a pick. We're going to move down. We're going to get a fourth-round selection. We're going to take this kid. We're going to get younger at the spot, and we're going to get just maybe, just as strong if he pans out. We're going to take that fourth-round pick, put it in my back pocket, and use it not in the fourth round, but later on tonight, to get Brandon Ayuk, the wide receiver from Arizona State, who I thought would have been the perfect fit for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Sitting there at 30, they couldn't get Ayuk because he was already off the board. They end up moving up to get Jordan Love, which, by the way, if the Packers are the closest to San Francisco, put a pin in that for a second. And you get the receiver that you can put with Deebo Samuel, and you're already getting rid of Marquise Goodwin, who you get rid of later on in the draft. So you understand what your roster is going to look like. You need to fill this need. And in terms of filling a need, Joe Staley's retiring. You know that. We don't. You know that. Washington may not. But for whatever reason, the Redskins could not get Trent Williams under contract, even with Bruce Allen gone. Even with the owner basically sweeping the front office clean and bringing in Ron Rivera, Trent Williams still, they couldn't figure out that Rubik's Cube. And you flip a 5 this year and a 3 next year for Trent Williams, who your competitor in Los Angeles, in Sean McVay, went ahead later on and said, basically, he needed a drink when he heard about that. This is what one of your competitors in the division says.
Oh, dude.
Okay, so you get Trent Williams, who, by the way, the rest of the league needed. You get one of the best in the business, and you put him on the line, and all it costs you is a 5 this year and a 3 next. And by the way, your 2, the reason why you didn't have one was D Ford, who's on the line with Kinlaw and Armstead and Bosa. And you wound up 6 minutes shy of winning it all. So you improve your defending NFC championship team. Okay. And again, maybe, just maybe, you going up to get Ayuk at 25 is what caused the Packers to say, okay, we can't wait. The guy that we were identifying for our receiver, let's go get Jordan Love. And if that creates a huge problem in Green Bay with the quarterback and the front office, which we have no idea if it's going to happen, that is an added extra cherry on top, a sort of Jedi mind trick maneuver that would put John Lynch's name on GM of the Year trophy, if there is one, right now. I said that. He put his names all over the GM of the Year. Eric Stone Street, our Thursday guest, was like, you know, excuse me, because, you know, he's a big Chiefs fan, and Brett Veach is doing a great job there, too. And I'm like, I didn't say Lombardi trophy. I said GM of the Year trophy. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.